What's up, people? I know you've screamed at the referee before. I know I have on numerous occasions. Our focus this week is on a system designed to improve these unwanted situations, to eliminate human error from the judgments on our game. Technology has been implemented into football, but has it actually improved the sport? Let's go to the monitor because it's the video assistant referee, otherwise known as VAR, in the spotlight of the week. VAR finds its roots not only in the desire to improve the refereeing in the game, but in an initiative put forward by the KNVB, or the Dutch Footballing Association, known as Refereeing 2.0. This is the same group responsible for bringing goal line technology to our beautiful game. Initially, the 2-year program was meant to trial the use of a 5th and 6th official, as well as the goal line technology known as the Hawkeye system. This came off the back of FIFA allowing the use of this technology in 2012. Not long after, VAR was conceived and trials began. The KNVB petitioned the International Footballing Association Board, or IFAB, the group in charge of the laws of the game, and in 2014, more extensive trials of the VAR system were approved. In spite of the trial runs, support for the technology was still met with stern resistance, mainly from FIFA president Sepp Blatter. But of course, when his unregulated reign of corruption came to a crashing end in 2015, his successor, Gianni Infantino, was far more welcoming of the technology's implementation. The following year, the rollout would begin with a live trial in a friendly between PSV and FC Eindhoven. Next up was a match between two MLS reserve sides competing in the lower division here in America, in which VAR, of course, played a major role. The first international match where VAR was trialed was a friendly between France and Italy, at least as friendly as those games can get anyway. The KNVB Cup third round tie between Ajax and Willem II on September 21st, 2016 was the first official professional game to use the technology, and the first match to have a pitch side monitor, which was, of course, used to upgrade a yellow to a red, making it the first ever VAR sending off. The first of oh so many. At that time, the crowd and even some of the players actually had no clue what was happening, and the first growing pains of the system were revealed. Now, VAR would find its way to the 2016 FIFA World Club Cup as momentum kept building. The Australian League would then become the first domestic professional league to implement VAR into an entire season. The first official use in the league was used to identify a handball in the box, and we were all set upon the slippery slope that has become. MLS would soon follow suit, and after the 2017 All-Star Game, the remainder of the season was played using this technology. The 2017 FIFA Confederations Cup would be the first international competition the technology would be used at, and it would come under a lot of criticism as a number of questionable decisions were made. The international competitions have begun featuring VAR, and the domestic leagues would soon fall in line. Portugal would implement the technology in 2017 and become the first nation to use VAR in the women's game later on that same year. The Bundesliga and the Serie A brought in the system for the 17-18 season, with La Liga doing the same for the 18-19 campaign. England's first trial of the system was in the FA Cup match between Brighton and Palace in 2018, and the next day the Côte d'Azur derby in the French Cup, that's Monaco versus Nice, also saw a trial run, and both of these trials were deemed a success. The Champions League adopted VAR in the knockout rounds of the 18-19 competition and the full tournament the following season. That left only the Premier League. Simon Hooper, November 2018, disallows Charlie Austin's goal for Southampton, and the Camel's back was broken. The Prem was ready for VAR, and the following season saw the technology implemented. VAR's World Cup debut, the wonderful tournament in Russia. 335 incidents in the group stage, 7 per match, with 14 of these calls being overturned. And the first decision for VAR in the World Cup was, of course, to award France a penalty versus Australia, and the penalty in the final, of course, being a big VAR decision as well. With only 4 players sent off in the entire tournament, it was deemed the cleanest cup since Mexico 86 and had the lowest number of expulsions since Argentina 78. However, 29 penalties were awarded, 22 of which were converted, the most since France 1998. Former Premier League referee and then IFAB technical director Mr. David Elleray would go on record saying that he thought the system would make the players more honest on the whole, citing the fact that they knew they would be caught for any malfeasance. A romantic notion, if ever there was one, and it's been proven to be somewhat naive since then. Now, VAR is only supposed to be used during 4 situations in a game: on goals, on penalties, red card decisions, and mistaken identity. The video assistant referee does check many things throughout the game without telling the ref, and these are known as silent checks. The VAR will only suggest a delay to the game if there's been a clear and obvious error to the decision. If the ball isn't out of play, they can stop the game to suggest the center ref go to the monitor or inform of a missed call. If the ball has gone out, normally the VAR will ask for a delay if there is a check ongoing. Now, one of the big things about VAR is that the on-field referee must make a ruling. The video assistant referee is not meant to referee the match, only check on and confirm or reverse original decisions. Of course, all goals are checked regardless of circumstance, and there are 2 types of calls that VAR can get involved with. The objective ones, such as offsides, where they will draw lines, or, of course, the placement of the foul, whether or not it was in the box. And then, of course, the overwhelming majority are the subjective ones, such as fouls and upgrading yellows or downgrading reds. If the ref is called to the pitch side monitor, the area must be kept clear and cannot be interfered with, but the area must be in plain sight of everyone in the stadium. I suppose that is so he can hear all the abuse coming from the fans. And now, the part you've all been waiting for. The bile, the anger, the frustration. VAR was actually accused of creating more controversy and confusion than it helped in the 2017 Confederations Cup, as many decisions were reviewed and many questions were raised rather than answered. Technical issues with the equipment itself is also another problem that has occurred on occasion, the first of which in the Portuguese league when a fan flag obscured the cameras, not allowing for the proper decision to be made. And then there have been other things as well, like the cameras being shut off before the end of the match in an A-League Grand Final in 2018. We've all heard of the PGMOL at this point. They are the group responsible for refereeing the matches, responsible for the appointment of those officiating on the field, as well as in Stockley Park, where the VAR headquarters is housed. Howard Webb is the head of the organization, and his officials have come under heavy fire in recent times. Bordering on 20 apologies have been issued by the PGMOL following incorrect decisions since VAR was brought into the league. As situations have been presented in the Premier League and elsewhere, the laws of the game have adapted as well. For instance, the mystery that is handballs. VAR are all about their verbiage, so I will use theirs. Handballs these days revolve around the idea of a natural position. Now, you tell me what a natural position is these days, because I have no idea. The offsides decisions are also surrounded by controversy. Yes, the system is supposed to eliminate human error, but are these guys drawing the lines correctly every time? Sometimes they forget to draw them at all. Then there's the Liverpool one recently, where there was a miscommunication and clear human error. Of course, the decisions where it's deemed a matter of degree are contentious as well. Take your pick from the Arsenal-Newcastle game most recently. These are still humans operating the system and making decisions, but the standard needs to be elevated enormously. No, we will never get rid of VAR. There's no going back. but there needs to be change. The PGMOL have refs who are the center official on Saturday and are in the VAR dungeon on Sunday. Former ref Mike Dean has openly admitted without fear of consequence that he ignored the integrity of the game because he was mates with the on-field ref and didn't want to put pressure on him. We know that the laws state the ref has to make an on-field call and thus gives the VAR the opportunity to back his call if they are unsure. Hence the not enough conclusive evidence, despite there being 30 cameras in every corner of the stadium. So where does that leave us? There's no accountability for the refs. Their punishments for mistakes that potentially cost clubs huge sums are laughable at best. The media eat up all the drama around the referees and their poor decisions, so they have a clear vested interest in the BS going on every week. The league, the FA, and the owners love the drama, so it's up to us, the fans, to demand change. The PGMOL have responded half-heartedly with their clip show, as Michael Owen and Howard Webb present a bit of a joke, if I'm honest. They have also made the audio available between the referees to the commentators during the ongoing checks. However, I still feel that the fans in the stadium are the ones losing out the most. Watching on TV, we can see the angles and the process of the reviews, but the game is so stop-start these days. Sitting in the stands wondering what's going on is not what people want to spend their hard-earned money on. The people who travel from London to Newcastle deserve better than atrocious refereeing decisions deciding the game. So, my solutions are these. Obviously, the goal line technology that has been employed at the World Cup all along the entire goal line could have helped in the Newcastle-Arsenal game, as well as the Man U-Brighton game where Rashford was ruled to be out of bounds. Also, the semi-automated offsides technology is a must in the Prem. It worked wonderfully, for the most part, in Qatar, and there would be a lot less controversy over offsides if the lines were flashed up on the Jumbotron by the automated technology, or if the entire process was displayed on all the giant screens. I also think that the punitive measures taken against officials who make game-changing mistakes that require PGMOL apologies should be far harsher. Instead of a paid vacation or one match in the championship, there should be hefty fines and long bans without pay. There's too much at stake for these clubs. Espanyol were relegated to the second division due to a VAR mistake. Relegated! That's the most damaging thing that could possibly happen to any club, and it was no fault of their own. Yes, there's a ton of pressure on these guys, but there's even more pressure on the players, the coaches, and the managers. If the managers can face bans for breaches of conduct, if the players can face bans for improper behavior, why are the referees exempt? I understand that the constant checks break up the game, and the way we're going doesn't seem to be getting better. VAR's created a culture where the refs are too reliant on the technology. It seems like sometimes, if there's a close call, they will simply call it one way or the other, hoping the VAR will bail them out. But the guys at Stockley think a definitive decision was made, and then there isn't enough conclusive evidence, and no one has made a decision in the end. Players go down at the slightest touch, hoping the VAR will send a man off, knowing that they're going to have a look at it, and some of it is downright embarrassing. The only way to maintain the integrity of our beautiful game is to band together as fans, players, and managers, regardless of tribalism, and make a stand. We need to hold the PGMOL accountable. They're a part of our game whether we like it or not, and it's time everyone remembers we're all on the same team. And when a part of that team isn't doing its job properly, they need to be helped and improved together instead of alienating each other with tribalist banter. The spirit of VAR was meant to improve the game, to uphold the integrity of the sport, and hopefully we can figure out a way to return to that. So let me know what you think about VAR in the comments below, people. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to another Spotlight of the Week. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and you will see me next time.